Well, my competition's done. It went about as well as I could have hoped for. Oh, I tell you what though, I do find it hard about a day or two prior. I am just an anxious, nervous mess. I had to get up about 5 AM on the day of, and I don't think I got a wink of sleep that night. I keep telling myself, like, you know, nobody cares, like, not to be harsh, but nobody cares really how tomorrow is going to go, except for maybe your other 3 teammates, but even then, it's not going to dictate their entire life. You know, I lay in bed and I tell myself, you've paid to do this. It's not like it's the Olympics. You're going to have fun. Just go to sleep, relax. But I can't get it out of my head of, like, you know, what if I didn't set my 12 alarms that I have? What if they don't go off? What if I let the team down? And I really, really struggle to switch off when I have things like that coming up. Which puts me in a bit of a dilemma, because I really want to do more competitions, because I feel like that's a big key to me getting better, is to keep practicing that you know, competition experience. But the run up to it I really struggle with, and obviously it's never as bad as I have it in my head. None of these things come to pass that I'm worrying about. And actually, I'm not sure if I said this yet, but in terms of me and my team performance, it went about as good as I could have hoped for. You know, it actually went really smoothly. I think we did pretty much what we were capable of. And the teams that beat us, simply because they're better than us. It's not because we had a shocker or fucked up. It's because they're just better. But that's okay. I still believe I have a lot of room to improve. And I do plan to, and doing more competitions is part of that. So now I need to look forward to the next one. Just done the last workout of the CrossFit Open as well, which my whole CrossFit Open has been an absolute mess. It's such a shame, because I really thought I'd get into quarterfinals this year. I honestly believe I had the ability to do so, but obviously flu and life has ripped that away from me. So it's just a lesson of, like, don't put too much weight on anything, because you can have a great idea of how it's going to go in your head, but when that day actually comes, you don't know what's going to happen. And I'm just unfortunate that I managed to get the flu 2 days before it started, and I wasn't even able to submit a score for the first workout, which essentially meant, unless I was an absolute elite athlete and could put up a ridiculous score for the subsequent 2 workouts, it's essentially meant that my chances of getting to quarterfinals are over from that day. So I still tried the second workout. I was basically straight out off the back of the flu then, so I know that still wasn't my best, even though I put a decent score up. And then I've just tried the third workout. I'm recovered from the flu, but it was the day after my competition where I did 4 workouts in one day, all of which were intense, high intensity, and I was a lot more sore than I expected to be. But I thought, like, you've still got to have it. Obviously you're not getting to quarterfinals, it doesn't really matter how you do on this workout, but you've still got to have a go, because you weren't able to have a go of the first one, and I didn't particularly want to. You know, it took quite a lot for me to drag myself to the gym and warm up and do it on my own, but I did, and I'm really glad I had a go at it, even though it wasn't a particularly great score. I'm glad I put something up and didn't make excuses, even though I'm happy to make the excuse that I was not able to do what I was capable of on that workout, because of having just done a competition the day before. I am happy that I didn't make the excuse of I'm just not going to do it because I'm sore. So I am changing in that regard. I believe I'm developing a more sort of discipline. And man, why is the traffic so bad at 11:30 on a Wednesday morning? And yeah, now we just look forward to the future. And if it's meant to be, I guess my 4th CrossFit Open next year is where I'll get to the quarterfinals. And I guess, yeah, so much has happened in my story that this is just another part of it that it's like water off a duck's back now. Like, I try not to be upset by it, but I'm sure I let that cyclist go this morning. But yeah, I watched a video on YouTube about a young man called Zaid Car-cia last night, and these stories have just given me immense perspective. I cannot believe the cruelty of the hand that he was dealt. He was basically burned. He should have died. He's got 95% burns from when he was younger, and God bless him. Well, I don't know if there is a God, but something bless him. The positive energy of the universe, please bless him, because he is so badly disfigured. His eyes he's got no eyes, he's got no hands, his face is just completely deformed. But you listen to him speak and he just sounds, you know, if you close your eyes and just listen to him, it just sounds like a normal, in fact he sounds like a really rare 19-year-old, in that he's so sweet and kind and thoughtful, and his attitude to life is just truly breathtaking and inspiring. And I'm finding, like, you know, I watched another story about a guy called Paul Alexander. He spent his entire life in an iron lung. He got polio age 6, and he spent from 6 to 78 years old, he spent 71 years in an iron lung. And I just sat there thinking, like, you know, imagine, okay, my first kiss, my first day at school, my first job, first time I, you know, did it. All these life milestones, he was in the iron lung for those. You know, he never had those. And I can't, like, I'm only 34. I can't even imagine what it would be like to have spent from when I was 6 to 34 in an iron lung. And he did it until he passed away recently, age 78. And again, his attitude to life was just unbelievable. He was so positive, and no victim mentality, no feeling sorry for himself. And that seems to be a common theme of a lot of these stories of these people that have been dealt a really cruel and unfair hand, that they have this amazingly positive attitude. And I feel privileged to be able, that we've got their stories at our fingertips. We can just look them up on YouTube, and it really gives you a sense of a perspective. Like, here's me feeling sad because I didn't do as well in a CrossFit competition, you know, worldwide CrossFit competition, as I had planned for. But look at the real wins. I still was able to have a go. Look at me. You know, I've got no disfigurement or impairment. I'm in a really healthy, able body. 34 years old. I've got the world at my feet still. And there is definitely some truth to it when people say, like, what have you got to be depressed about? Because we get so wrapped up in our own story and victim mentality, suddenly it becomes a huge thing to be depressed about. But the more you can expose yourself to other people that have been dealt a truly awful hand and are still trying to make a go of their life and be positive, it really does give you perspective, and it really does make you feel better about your own life. And it makes you think, well, if they can be so positive, well then so can I. And I owe it to them to try, even if I have to fake it. This is why whenever I go for a run lately, I've been dedicating it to somebody that can't run, somebody that has lost the ability to run, somebody that would love to be able to not want to go for a run, but now they will always probably want to go for a run but will never be able to. And I just feel like the more you keep people like that in mind, the more it helps you to do stuff that is boring or that you don't want to do, but you owe it to these. In my opinion, you might not disagree, you might not agree with me, but you owe it. Anybody that is healthy and able-bodied owes it to people that with disabilities to look after their body and stay active and stay healthy. So that's what I will keep doing, even on days that I don't feel like doing it. And I'll look for another CrossFit competition to do next, and I'll just be grateful to be there, be healthy, be capable of doing it, regardless of where I finish, because that is the real win. And you can get so sucked up in ego that you lose sight of that. If you can tick those boxes, you've won already. So I'll just be so grateful to continue to be a real winner.